Voltamos. Ah, esqueci de ligar a luz. Peraí. Problemas técnicos. Tá. Vamos lá, vamos voltar.
Trees and the wild things. I really must thank you, by the by. Asterion is simply over the moon, and he's already repaid me with this select tome from the reliquary.
That's why you did all this? Because you wanted some book?
Not just some book, but a tome from the forbidden depths.
I doubt Hecate would be pleased.
Oh, most assuredly not. Neither would Athena, which makes it all the more delicious. I trust you got what you needed. More grist for the mill of your innocence, as it were.
It's quite the coincidence. The place you sent me just happens to be the place Calliope was attacked.
That is quite the coincidence. You must be very grateful.
Que ela fica falando as coisas se
It's
estiver
just
errado.
hard to trust a coincidence that big.
Se ele realmente
You
não
have
sabe
no
de nada, tá
reason to
falando
be
tudo.
suspicious. I know nothing of what happened to Calliope at the reliquary. I suppose the question at the heart of this is, do you believe me?
You're enjoying this, aren't you? This tit-for-tat, back and forth.
I'll enjoy it if
Não,
you're...
não, não. Não quero
Well,
isso.
I'm not enjoying it.
Oh my, aren't you a delight? Even if you haven't answered the question,
Não, só queria a primeira parte.
don't think I didn't notice. I've never lied to you, Grace, and I never shall. If you're looking for innocence, however, well, I'm afraid that's one thing I cannot provide.
What if I discover you're lying to me after all?
You'll do what you do, and I'll do what I do, and we'll see where that takes us.
That's my cue to go, isn't it?
If you must. There are always alternatives, you know. If I can make a suggestion, live the high life. Throw caution to the wind.
That's your suggestion?
And why not? It's the same as when I first met you, Grace. You can enjoy being an idol. Simply follow my lead.
Ah, tá de brinks. Ai. Não, não quero isso. Mas. Eu não... O que significa?
Why not?
See now. This is why I like you. Such a sense of the inappropriate. It is an ugly business, living among the gods. You'll always twisting on, even if you're trying not to. And so I say, let's do it. The world, it needs that guy who is prepared to move the pieces in from every side. All of the world's on the edge of a knife. So I choose partying. There's no need for strife. So dance, little Gracie, come, won't you dance? Only so much of your life's in your hands. Haven't I helped you? The rest is chance. So come on, let's have this dance. So what, the call was close. We're both alive and well. We'll live to fight another day as far as I can tell. And even if you don't, and I what you want. I promise you'll be glad you spent the night with me. So dance, little Gracie, come, won't you dance? Only so much of your life's in your hands. Haven't I helped you? The rest is chance. So come on, let's have this dance.
I can't believe your arrogance, assuming I'd go for a guy who doesn't care that I might die. I really thought you believed in me.
Don't be like that, Grace. We both know this is who I am. I can't change, so take it or leave it. I won't repeat it. I'm only here for the dance.
You don't have any hope for me, do you? You're just taking what you can get before it's over.
I've seen this story many times, Grace. I've told this story many times. And it always ends the same way. You're hoping to find Medusa, I expect.
Changing the subject?
Como é que sabe?
And how do you even know about that?
I'm just trying to be helpful, Grace. In my way. You'll find Medusa at a dingy little club appropriately named the Viper's Nest. Give her my regards. But do be careful if you call on her, Grace. Medusa is a hideous monster and should be treated as such.
Acho que depois desse eu falo com a Persephone.
This must be the Viper's Nest. Scariest part of town, no sign. Just that one dude glaring at everyone. Well, I'm here now. Just another day in the life of an idol.
There you are. Man, this place is the worst. I think someone peed on me.
Freddy? What are you doing here?
What, you thought I wouldn't notice you skulking off? You didn't even bring any equipment, Grace.
What kind of equipment does one bring to a meeting with Medusa?
This isn't a meeting, Grace. You're not here to sell her on your business plan.
Please tell me you don't have any weapons in there.
Nothing that would get me stopped on the bus. Look, you're gonna need some backup in there, okay? Do you even know anything about Medusa?
Okay, I'll bite. What do you know about Medusa?
Well, you know she was human once, right? And she was cursed.
Not really, no.
Cursed by Athena. Or so one of the stories goes, anyway.
But doesn't she work for Athena?
Hey, don't look at me. My knowledge of this stuff stops at a few thousand years ago.
She was once human, but she's definitely a monster, right?
Yeah, one of the worst. But, you know, so was the Minotaur.
Asterion said she was scary. I have a feeling she's not like him.
Then I guess you need to be prepared for the possibility that she is as bad as the legends say. Though some of the stories also say that she was wronged by Athena and that what was done to her was an injustice.
And Athena just follows the rules, right? Do you think she actually turns people to stone?
Let's hope not, or this could be a short visit. Or a really, really long one.
I'm serious!
Perseus used a mirror to reflect Medusa's gaze back at her. Oh, maybe you could use your phone.
You think that would work?
Unless you brought a mirror, Grace, it's all you got.
Okay, enough talking. Time to do this.
You have a plan for how we're getting inside, I hope?
Maybe. You're here to help?
Always. Bet I have a plan.
Qual que é? Ah.
Nothing in your bag for bashing a lock, I take it?
I thought this was an adventure, not break and enter.
What do you think adventures are, Freddy?
I still can't believe you can do that. It's like I don't even know you. And is this a good idea? What if Medusa, like, calls the cops?
As I recall, your big idea was to distract the guy at the front door with firecrackers.
They're legal. And loud.
Do I even want to know what else is in there?
No, that's probably better if you don't.
And there we go. Coming?
Oh, hell yes. I wouldn't miss this for the world.
Time to split up and have a look around.
What a long day, hiding in the light. Such a long day, dreaming of tonight. This sacred bite. Hello, who's that there? You've messed up my flow. Just get your drink, girl, and take your seat. Oh, it's the muse. There are sacred bites, and then there's this sacred bite. So wrong, so right. I'm really gonna hate myself tonight.
Before you start the show, Pan said to say hello. That's what he said to say.
Well, any friend of Pan's is a friend of Pan's.
Okay.
I hate to interrupt your flow. There's just some things I need to know. I wish there was another way. Yes, you do. Now, look into me. Your body glows freely every time I see it tenders turning jelly as it renders. What'd you say, Grace? You okay, Grace? Where's the game face this time? You are currently experiencing something I like to call the preparation. Any questions or comments? That's right, it is widely known that I can turn folks to stone. But oh, I won't this time. Cause this time I find dine that oozy musy bloods my wine this time. Look into me. Oop, she's looking away. Hey, look into me.
Saw hunger with no end. You lost Medusa. Unless you find a friend.
What I should
Can be a
look at me, but don't look at me.
Athena made you like this.
She was mad at me, so
Well, why was she mad?
she said I'd been bad.
Had you been?
No. Now look into me.
Medusa, look into your own eyes. Nope. Okay. It was worth a shot. You know you're not unhot. That's my opinion anyway.
Don't look at me.
The snakes, sure they're snakes, but you can pass them off as fakes. Like it's just a cosplay.
Don't look at
You're
me.
not a monster to me. I think that you should try to see Medusa in
You're
another
lost,
way.
little girl. No more Hail Marys. The not unhot girl is you. The monster's me.
You don't know, you don't know.
Do know that you didn't.
Kill Calliope. So you know that it's true that I didn't do it.
No.
Yes, you do know, you know. Does that mean Athena knows?
No. Fine grace.
To tell you I'm what? Bait? Another feature show. Come on, try.
But
Let's go.
gonna suffer.
You think that will hurt me, child? You have not done your homework.
Oh, sorry, just trying to get your attention. Yeah, I've been watching, and I'm willing to bet you can't turn me to stone before I burn your snakes off.
Hey, stand down, Freddy. Let's give Medusa some space.
Yeah, okay. I'm watching her, though.
You ready to talk?
Oh, fine. Fine. What exactly is it that you want, pretty muse?
You were at the reliquary the night Calliope was murdered. I want to know why.
Blast! This is why I didn't tell Lady Athena. I knew it would come back to haunt me. I only followed pretty Calliope to the reliquary. I never spoke to her, never even caught up to her. I swear it.
That's what Asterion told us, more or less.
But you were there that night.
Yes, yes, I admit it. Ugh, Lady Athena will have my head. She'll mount it on a pike. Whatever you might think of me, I had no part in the Muse's death. I did not even know she'd been attacked until I saw her fleeing.
You followed Calliope to the reliquary. Why were you shadowing her at all?
I am Lady Athena's spy master, yes. Calliope has been trouble from time to time.
So you were spying on her.
I keep watch over every idol who no longer lives in Olympus, but especially Calliope. When I realized she was headed to the reliquary that eve, I followed. I had a duty to Athena.
Did you ever find out why Calliope went there?
I was never close enough to ask. When I drew near to the reliquary, that is when I saw the muse fleeing. She was frightened, blooded, dying.
Let me guess, that made you hungry.
I gave chase, yes, but to discover the truth. I knew Lady Athena would wish to know.
That does make sense from your perspective.
I didn't learn the truth until later. And then it was far too late.
Asterion said he caught up with you out in the fog. Is that right?
I thought he was the one who had attacked her. He is a great beast of a creature.
He
Yeah,
killed
but
Hecate's
it's-
cat by accident. But this still seems hard to believe.
Yeah.
Yes, I only realized my mistake once I caught up to him, and by then the muse was gone.
And you never found her afterwards?
I thought she might flee to her pretty home, or to the sharp and prickly Persephone. She did neither.
Yeah, she came to see me. You haven't told Athena any of this?
Do I need to light things up again? 'Cause I'll do it.
I told her Calliope was at the reliquary that night. I did not tell her I was also there.
Why not? Wouldn't Athena find out from Hecate anyway?
No, I was not thinking clearly. I panicked. Lady Athena barely tolerates my presence as it is. If she thought I was involved in any way, if she even suspected...
Why should we believe you? You did just try to eat me, remember?
I am telling you the truth.
Right, and not at all trying to cover your own ass.
You presented an opportunity. Oh, to taste the sweet, sweet blood of a hero once again. It's a problem. I've been working on it, I really have. I know it's hard to believe what a monster tells you, but it is true.
Okay, let's say we believe you. For the moment.
Whatever you do, pretty muse, I beg you. Do not tell Athena of my indiscretion. Show mercy. I know what I am horrifies you. Horrifies me as well. I cannot help what I am. I did not ask to be cursed like this.
Indiscretion, huh? It's quite the word for it.
I cannot apologize for my hunger. I can only apologize that I am so very weak in the face of it.
I'll think about it.
I am a lost and cursed thing. No idol. If Lady Athena should learn the truth, I hope you find what you seek, pretty muse. And that we meet again someday. And sing a different song.
Pena.
Pondering the big question, Grace. Do we actually believe her?
She gave us the same story as the Minotaur, but something's still not right. I don't buy it.
How do we catch her in the lie, though?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
So, the hunt continues? Great. More adventures for me, then.
Would you really have tried to burn Medusa's face off? With an aerosol can?
Hell yeah! One hint of googly eyes and...
What would I do without you?
You'll never need to answer that question, Grace.
Ué? O que eu tô fazendo aqui? Eu queria ir pra Persephone.
Oh, if it isn't, the lovely Grace?
You knew. Right from the start, you knew Calliope was there that night.
Well, yes. She asked for the key and I gave it to her, no questions asked. I told you I didn't know what happened to Calliope, and that's the truth. I did not. So I nudged you in the right direction.
So you were what? Just trying to be helpful? You still aren't telling me something.
What possible reason would I have to?
Tell me, right now.
Medusa learned that Calliope was going to the reliquary because I told her. Now, before you say anything, I had no idea of the fate awaiting our dear muse. And you yourself said Medusa was not responsible. I simply had to know if I'd inadvertently, rather innocently...
Sold her out? She came to you for help, and you gave her whereabouts to the highest bidder.
I am trying to help Grace. In my way.
What do you mean, in my way? What way is that?
The way where I don't take all the blame.
What else will I discover, Pan? I'd rather learn it now than later.
I wish I could tell you, Grace. I truly do.
Oh, back already, are you? It's just as well.
Ah, já faz
I've
uns
asked around,
dias.
called in some favors, just enough to get an idea of what all the idols are currently up to. Much as I'm loath to admit it, I'm back to thinking Pan may be our prime suspect after all.
Hey, Persephone. Nice to see you, too.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we girlfriends now? Did you come here for a social call over mimosas?
I wouldn't turn down a mimosa.
Oh, well, by all means, put your feet up. Hey, let me get you a cushion. It's your life on the line, not mine. While waiting for your drink, perhaps we can return to the subject of Pan.
Why Pan? I thought you'd rejected him as a suspect.
I did. It doesn't seem like his style. Pan has always preferred scheming over direct confrontation.
Mas...
The thing is, how did he know about you so quickly? What does he hope to gain by sticking his nose in?
A favor or two, I guess.
Half the idols owe him a favor or two. No, he's up to something else. Until I know what it is, I can't discount the possibility that he's involved in all this.
You might be right about Pan. I thought it could be Medusa, but now I'm not so sure.
So my sources are correct. You have been running around doing things on your own.
Óbvio.
Yeah, maybe I should bring you up to date.
Oof, you've been busy. It's good work, Grace, but that business with Medusa could have gone very badly.
You're right. I should have invited you along.
I wouldn't have gone, I assure you.
What? Not even to protect little old me?
Especially not for that.
At any rate, Medusa might be in the clear. Pan, however, is not.
I want to send you to a party, Grace. One Aphrodite is holding. She and Eros know Pan perhaps better than anyone. If you go, it'll give you a chance to find out what he's really up to.
You know Aphrodite better than I do. Can't you talk to her?
She and I don't get along.
Tu se dá com
Like
alguém?
how you and Apollo don't get along?
Even more intensely than that. I once said some things about her husband. They were true, but unwelcome. Suffice it to say, if I showed up at Aphrodite's party, revealing Pan's secrets would be the last thing on her mind.
Why a party? Couldn't I just go wherever she lives and ask her?
You could, but if you go to this party, she'll be grateful. She holds it from time to time and always asks Calliope to attend, but Calliope never would. You can put two and two together. A grateful Aphrodite might be willing to tell you what Pan is really up to.
One wild party with a goddess of love coming up.
It's less of a wild party and more of a somber affair.
You mean like a cocktail party?
Let me put it this way. Apollo will likely be there.
Gotcha. Expectations of fun downgraded considerably. I'll let you know what I find.
Mas a gente tá confiando bastante nela. Mas será que eu devia? Não sei. Com a mesma roupa. Ela vai pra festa.
Fancy party? Check. Bunch of strangers? Check. Grace totally not dressed for the occasion? Check. Now, if only I knew what I was supposed to be doing here.
Grace?
You're here.
Yeah, I'm invited, aren't I?
I'm just surprised you even knew it was happening.
Persephone said I should come to this. Whatever this is.
Persephone didn't tell you? Why am I not surprised?
I don't like the sound of that. What am I missing?
É velório.
You don't have any of Calliope's memories, right? No deja vu, recollections that aren't your own?
No. Should I have?
Not right away. For a while, you won't remember anything. We call it the veil. In time, the veil will start to lift, slowly at first, but eventually you'll remember almost everything Calliope did.
Então por que querem me matar?
Seems like the sort of thing you should tell a new idol.
New idols are usually chosen. You would know about this already, except...
Except Calliope was murdered.
Remember how old we all are. There are so many memories. So the veil lifts gradually to protect you. Eventually, it's like a flood. It becomes difficult to separate what's you and what's them, and all who came before them.
That's a lot to take in. I'm not sure what to think.
I understand. Take some time to let it sink in. If you like, we can talk about it later.
What does this have to do with the party?
Aphrodite hasn't been the same since we came to the New World. She has horrific memories of what she endured during the war. Passing on her eidolon is a way to forget, for a while. That's what this party is for.
When you say she's gonna pass on her eidolon, you mean...
She's going to die, yes, and pass her soul on to a chosen successor.
in front of everyone?
We're here to help, Grace. To make it easier for Aphrodite to do what she feels she must. We're here to say goodbye. At least for a while.
This isn't the first time Aphrodite's done this. She's held this kind of gathering before, right?
This is her fourth, I think. Perhaps fifth.
So every time the veil, whatever you call it, when it starts to lift...
Aphrodite's memories return, and eventually it is too much. We gather to pay our respects and to honor the past. Well, she still remembers it.
Wait. Persephone said Calliope always refused to come to these parties.
She refused on principle. Everything Calliope did was on principle. She believed Aphrodite was indulging her sadness, wallowing in it. She thought Aphrodite should try harder. It was a point of contention between them. Aphrodite will be grateful you're here. Trust me.
Do you support what Aphrodite is doing here?
It's not my choice to make, Grace.
Yeah, but you must have an opinion.
Eventually you will remember what we experienced during the war. And eventually you will remember that what Aphrodite experienced was far worse. If this is the mercy she requires,
Yes.
I will not tell her she should not take it.
Okay, so what did Aphrodite want Calliope to do? What did she want me to do?
Well, knowing Aphrodite, she'll want you to make a production of it all. She's not here just yet. Until she arrives, I suggest mingling.
Mingling.
Yeah, mingling. Talk to Eros. Or we can talk more if you like. Just try to relax, Grace.
Sure, yeah. Relax. That's what this party is for, right?
Grace!
Hey, Eros. Nice to... Oh. Okay.
Aphrodite will be so happy you're here. It means so much, you have no idea.
Are you okay? You seem a bit...
Every time she does this, I don't know how to handle it. Yeah, I almost want to run upstairs and demand she stop. Remind her that this never works. Sorry, I shouldn't unload on you. It's been a bad week.
Hey, I understand. This can't be easy.
She's the one who is suffering. I shouldn't be complaining. I just hate this. I'm there every day, going through it all with her. The nightmares, the panic attacks, the weeks when she just won't get out of bed. I'm there when she forgets the war's over, and I hold her until the screaming stops. Me. I do that.
That sounds awful.
And now I'm arranging her gathering again, so she can die again. And I'll watch it all again.
Is it okay if I ask what happened? I don't mean to pry, but I'm new. I really don't know.
No, it's okay. I wouldn't usually talk about it, but I know you don't mean any harm. What happened is that Brother Ares happened. He missed out on the first world-spanning war, you see. So he was damned if he'd miss out on the next one. He found some jack-booted mortals, so full of themselves and their supremacy. And he told them about the idols. Then they came for us. Took us completely by surprise. Some they killed, but Aphrodite, her they captured.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
Aphrodite was captured, but she's here now. So she must have escaped.
She didn't. Do you know the name Hephaestus?
No. Should I?
God of smiths. He could make anything, any tool or weapon. He was Aphrodite's husband, and he adored her. When he found out the mortals were torturing her, he went mad. He was determined to save her.
Wait, they tortured her?
Nothing extreme, I'm told. They were too frightened, but they were also determined to wring every last secret out of her. So, who knows how long that fear would have lasted. Thus, Hephaestus made a deal.
With the, jackbooted guys.
No, with their enemies. That's what saved her.
Then this deal is how Aphrodite survived.
It's how we all survived. It's what brought us to the new world. Hephaestus saved us all. We never saw him again. That was the deal. He would leave, make their precious weapons, and never look back. Aphrodite never even got to say goodbye. It's funny, because Aphrodite didn't even like Hephaestus when they were married. She seemed to resent every minute they were together. But now he's all she can think about.
Is there no other way? Does Aphrodite really need to...
To die? I've asked that so many times. She's tried magic, drugs, psychotherapy, meditation, everything we could possibly think of. For a while, she'll deny anything's wrong. It all seems fine, and I start to hope. Maybe this time will be different. And the nightmares begin, and the memories return. More with each passing day until... I hate it, but I see her agony. I can't deny her this.
Maybe I just don't understand, but... Isn't this... like, suicide?
Some of the idols have committed suicide. They let themselves die without passing on their eidolon.
What happens?
What you'd expect. They're gone. Forever. Mother says she can't do that. She won't. Not until she sees Hephaestus again, I suspect. Not that what's happening here is anything casual. She still has to die. For a while.
You sound like you don't approve of what Aphrodite's doing.
What I want is for her to not hurt anymore. What I want is for this to end. She'll ask you to use your power as part of the celebration. Could you use it to inspire her?
I can't force anyone to do anything they don't want to, Eros.
That's not what I'm asking. I believe that deep down, she doesn't want to do this any longer. She must see it isn't working. She just needs the strength to try. Or I hope that's all she needs.
I'll try, if you think it'll do some good.
I don't know if it will. I just find it hard to believe it could get any worse.
Famous last words.
Tell me about it. Do whatever you think is right, Grace. And thank you.
I know all these people, Grace. For as long as I can remember, I've known them. Yet sometimes I feel like I don't know any of them at all. Or they me.
You don't enjoy these family gatherings, do you?
Are they family gatherings? Like the sort mortals have?
You call each other sister and brother and mother.
Oh, yes, but...
And you've been together like 100 times longer than I lived with my family. All you're missing is a drunk uncle everyone has to apologize for.
That would be Pan. But yes, I feel very much out of place.
Why is that exactly? Wouldn't you feel more like you belonged after 1,000 years together?
Is your assumption that all those centuries bring great wisdom?
Don't they?
We get older. We have more to forget. We hold grudges longer, but wiser. No. Not so far.
Triste.
I spoke to Eros. He's pretty broken up over all this.
Oh, poor Eros. Each new successor, his hopes rise up once more. And then he watches the new Aphrodite crumble. Piece by piece. Only to start all over again. It's so different from the olden days. Once he was the eternal disaster, and Aphrodite kept constant vigil over him.
Maybe he feels like he owes her.
I think he's followed her into a dark void, and somewhere, deep down, believes he deserves no better.
I should get back out there.
Essa é a nova Afrodite?
My family. Having you all here, gathered once again to see me off, it moves me. More than I can say. My loves, my darlings, my dearest friends. And you. Oh, my dear sweet thing. I dare not hope that you, with all your troubles, might sing me to my sleep. Yet here you are. Yet here she is. Huh.
It's lovely to meet you, Aphrodite. Properly, this time.
Ah, yes. Poor Calliope. Such a loss to us all. I shall miss her dearly. To have come so far, only... No, it doesn't bear thinking about. It's too much.
Is this Grace, my lady? The new muse?
Oh! What manners I have. Grace, Grace. Meet the lovely mortal woman who shall tonight become the new me.
Hi, my name's Venus. And yes, it really is Venus. Nice to meet you, Grace.
Yeah, hi. Nice to meet you.
We'll both be new at this, huh? Maybe we could get together and compare notes if you,
Survive my trial?
Yeah. Lady Aphrodite told me. I shouldn't have brought that up. I'm sorry.
There will be so much time for you lovelies to speak later. Now, we must prepare for my departure.
I just want to say, I'm really sorry that this happened to you, that you need to do this.
A babe in our dreary world, and yet already possessed of such earnest purpose.
Weren't you opposed to this, Grace?
Apollo! Oh, you've come after all.
Ele foi escroto, né? Cala a boca e fica quieto.
I've had a great deal of time to prepare. I assure you that would not be the case. As for you, Grace, have you gathered the true purpose of tonight's gathering?
I couldn't say.
An honest answer, I suppose. Some say it is about pain, for I have known pain. Some say it is about love, for above all things, I have known love. But truly, tonight is about memory. Memory I want to lose. But first, I shall honor it. Go, enjoy the gathering, Grace. Tell me when you're ready to begin.
I want to apologize again, Grace. I really messed up. It looks like I'll be doing that a lot. Lady Aphrodite said I'm ready, but I don't know.
Tudo certo.
Having second thoughts? If so, now's probably the time to mention it.
I would never do that to Lady Aphrodite. I'm just nervous.
That's understandable.
If I can ask, what does it feel like after it happens? Do you feel different?
I'm not sure. It happened so fast, I didn't
Eu
know
não
what to
sabia
think.
que estava acontecendo
Calliope
também.
died, and then all this happened.
You didn't remember anything? About her? Who she was? She was just gone?
Yeah. Isn't that the point of all this?
I just wanted to be sure. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it could be real.
How do you know Aphrodite exactly?
So I was working at this homeless shelter, right? A couple of years ago, and she came in with one of the older residents. And she was there in this, like, amazing dress. And she's sitting with this guy and really listening to him. Like, they were old friends or something. I just thought, what is someone like her doing in a place like this? So, I just went over and introduced
Quero
myself.
saber de quem que é essa voz.
That's it? Just like that.
Yeah. She came back to the shelter a few times, but by then, I guess she'd taken an interest in me instead.
Peraí que eu tô vendo, só um minutinho. Não, não conheço.
Are you really okay with all this? You know what's gonna happen, right?
I saw a lot of people in crisis at the shelter. I knew something was wrong with Lady Aphrodite. She's in so much pain, Grace. She won't let you see how much. Errol's called me one night desperate. She wouldn't stop screaming. She didn't know where she was.
E tu quer
She's a
vivenciar
good person,
isso?
Grace. A good soul. She deserves mercy.
You probably need to get ready. I shouldn't keep you.
No. This is Lady Aphrodite's big night, not mine.
It'll be yours later, won't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess it will.
Back again.
I don't think I'll have a chance to talk to Aphrodite. Not before, you know.
Not surprising. Surely Persephone must have realized that.
How? She's never been to one of these things. Anyway, I'm not sure what I'd do now.
You have two choices, Grace. Either you do as she asks and sing her to her rest,
At which point Venus won't have Aphrodite's memories yet.
or you somehow convince her to remain with us and hope she's grateful.
And doesn't regret it. Or get angry at me for ruining her party.
Do what you feel is right. It's a risk either way.
Have you spoken with Venus? She seems really...
Nice, earnest, a genuinely good person.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's not an accident. Ever since the war, Aphrodite has sought out the kindest, the most innocent souls to be her successors. She chooses them because she believes that over time, it might make her a better person. A more worthy person.
Wouldn't it be better if she chose people who were, I don't know, more resilient?
I suppose that depends on your definition of strength, Grace.
I should get back out there.
Vamos lá.
I have tried so hard, fought for so long, but in the end, I must bid you all farewell once again. But before I go, I would like us all to remember the sacrifices that brought us here, to this strange new world. This time, it is with the help of our lovely muse that we shall be guided. We let them rise. We let it happen. We waited far too long. Thought we shouldn't intervene. We were wrong. We were wrong. Since the beginning we were hidden. We held court from up above. 'Twas the golden age of reason, and I the queen of love. But a plague of hate was spreading, and there were vultures standing by. Before we fell to our knees begging, we fell from the sky. We let them rise, we let it happen. We waited far too long. We thought we shouldn't intervene. We were wrong, we were wrong. We sought shelter from the shadows, but were soon ripped from the dark. Those mortal souls that ended us were jealous from the start. They hunted me for power to fuel their psychopathic cause. And once they fell before me and worshipped all I was, they chased me down and threw me in a cage, held me prisoner for so long. I thought that and so my captors let me go. He gave up his freedom, leaving just a memory. And this love I'll never know is what he gave to me. I can see everything, it's interesting why you feel so blue. Because of the horror show from long ago, there ain't no getting through. A husband who sacrificed and paid the price for you to be free. Wherever he is right now, you'd think somehow that... Excuse me, sorry, I'm on a roll. I don't pretend to know the mind of a god. That's something I never thought I'd say. I'm not the only one here who wants to know. Is leaving now the only way to go?
I'm confused. Who are you? Thank you for sharing, little one. You're 80 years overdue. Now take your seat, you've had your fun. I think you'll find I'm a god. Making note of the staggering lack of help. And so no matter what you think you know, this ceremony is the only way to go.
Aphrodite, I know just what you mean. The pain has brought me so low. There's no end in sight. How do we find? If you can't move on, you got to move on. If we can't move on, you got to move on. If you can't move on, you got to move on.
I'm stunned by the arrogance, but eloquent sparks something in me. If you honestly can promise me all the help I need, I'll be the kind of a god you'll worship and adore like before. Thank you, Venus, a brilliant cameo.
And together we will face it, 'cause forgetting won't erase it. Moving on's the only
Fácil. Eu tava achando tudo muito bom. Não gostei tanto dessa parte. Faltou conteúdo.
Mother, is it true? You've chosen to.
I have chosen to live. I'm so sorry, Venus. I made you so many promises, dearest, and I won't be able to keep them.
My lady, all I ever wanted was for you to be happy. If this is your wish, I'll be with you at every step.
I as well. Always.
I hope none of us regret this choice in the days to come. But thank you.
This is the only way you'll get through it. Together, as a family.
If there's any chance, Mother, any at all, this is it.
I know, my loves. I hope you're right. Now then, Grace. Apollo tells me you needed my help.
Porra, já?
No doubt regarding Calliope's death. Have you any suspicions as to who might be responsible?
Calliope was at the reliquary when she was attacked, but I only know of 3 people who were there.
And you're sure none of them are responsible, Grace?
I thought maybe Medusa, but I've spoken to her and I think it's someone else.
Calliope came to see us that night. She was agitated, frightened even, but she wouldn't explain why.
She said she had a plan. Must have been the reliquary.
A plan? A plan for what? What could she find at the reliquary that would help her?
Maybe she wanted a weapon. Something to defend herself with.
If only we'd known she intended to go to the reliquary. How on earth did she even get in?
She used the key, the one Pan gave her.
Como é que tu sabe isso?
When Calliope arrived, she dropped it. Then she laughed and said she'd better not lose it because Pan won't give me another key to the reliquary. I didn't know it was important.
Well, there's your help, Grace. I can't give you any better.
Come now, Mother. It's time you rested.
Não me disse nada.
It's been a long night.
If I don't, I suppose you'll both gang up on me again. Very well.
So, did they have anything helpful?
It just doesn't make sense. Pan sent me to the reliquary. If he's involved, why would he do that?
Well, maybe he was hoping you could prove his innocence if you found out what happened there.
Pode
I
ser.
guess. Aren't you the one who first said he was probably guilty?
Worth investigating still. Are you all right, Grace? You seem troubled.
I'm worried. I don't feel like I'm any closer to the truth.
Aren't you? Even after learning about Pan?
I can't help feeling I'm on the wrong track somehow. Maybe it's just nerves.
So, I have a question. I know you're angry with Pan, but I also noticed something in how you speak of him. Am I correct in believing there's something there?
Não tem, não.
I really don't get him. Hot one minute, cold the next. You can never tell where he stands on anything.
It's none of my business, but no matter what I've said of Pan, his feelings run deep.
Oh.
Don't underestimate him, but also don't write him off. Not yet, anyhow. Give my regards to Persephone when you see her.
Apollo. Always so dramatic. Well done, by the way. You may be the very first person ever to talk sense into Aphrodite.
Viu? E nem foi difícil.
Don't joke about it. It was a lot.
A lot that I didn't prepare you for. I know.
That too, yeah.
It's not something you can prepare for. I thought this was the best way. I remember the last time I passed on my eye. 1950.
Propósito?
I was married to, well, you'd call him a gangster. More of a thug. A mean, vicious little thug. Persephone saved me from him. Tore his head clean off. But not before he fired a shotgun into her chest. My chest? Whatever.
Do you remember who you were before?
I still am her. Chastity, that is. You can see why I switched names. I remember being disgusted I was ever that weak. Persephone made me strong. But it never really goes away. We all have our sordid history, our personal horrors, building up like sediment around our souls. You can't let it bury you, Grace. You are the only one who can keep your head afloat.
incredible. You know that?
There's no need to be facetious, Grace.
No, really.
And what of Pan? Is he also incredible?
Why would you ask me that?
You are not as difficult to read as you believe, Grace.
Ih, deu treta aqui.
What he is incredibly frustrating and nothing at all like you.
I am incredible. It's true. It's good that you recognize this.
Okay, I take it back.
Oh, you can't take it back, Grace. I would have thought you'd learned that by now.
Tá.
After centuries of cruel injustice, everybody working against me, every idol but for one, violent with apathy. We couldn't reach a resolution, but you and I'm queen of the underworld, and you praise you. Something seems familiar about you. Have we met some lifetime ago?
Eu tenho um pedaço da Calliope, né? Será que é isso?
Gods like me don't have too much to hope for. The rules been fixed throughout the ages, so I have forged a daring path. I would like to make some changes. You see, we can win a revolution, you and I, you and I. I'm queen of the underworld, and you grace you. Your lost little girl. The first time we met, you called me that, and now I understand. Show it or not, I see your heart. You've got one big mouth on you, don't you? Yet it's me who's closing in. Think I like that mouth on you, won't you? You've overstayed your welcome. Time to go home.
Assim? Por quê?
Get out of here, Grace.
Pá, não fiz nada, meu. What the fuck? Vai, me rejeitou de graça. Vou falar com a Fred, então. Que tristeza.
Hey, hey, so what's the news, Miss Muse?
Miss Muse.
Well, does a muse have a proper form of address? I just want to hear what exciting adventures you've been having.
Well, I stopped the goddess of love from killing herself, I guess.
Whoa. Do gods have interventions? You know, they're nothing like I thought they would be. Everything else okay, though? Do we know who the killer is yet?
Not just yet, no.
Okay, well, let me know if there's anything I can do. If I have to hustle to become your high priestess, well, so be it.
You know what I find weird? That the idols have managed to remain completely secret all these years.
Sure, they have magic and whatnot, but in all this time, nobody's found them out? Athena is that good?
Who says nobody has found them out? The way I see it, it's like UFOs.
Okay, I have to hear this.
Okay, so you could have real evidence that UFOs exist and that governments have covered it up and people still wouldn't believe it. Why? Because they'd get laughed at if they admitted it. Imagine the headline. Greek gods exist and are living among us. What website would even run that?
Weird conspiracy ones. Yeah, you're right. Exactly how much do you know about the Greek gods, Freddy?
I know my Greek mythology, but what I've read clearly doesn't line up with who they are today. Or who they ever were, maybe.
Still might be useful. There's gotta be some truth to those stories, right?
Maybe? Who do you want to hear about?
Do you know anything about the Muses? Or Calliope in particular?
Yeah, for starters, there were supposed to be 9. Though I guess there are some sources that said there were only 4, maybe 3. Each of the muses had her specialty. Did you know that Calliope is supposed to be the muse of epic poetry? She inspired the Odyssey.
Wow, I don't even like poetry.
Yeah, it was said her singing voice was unmatched. So they got that part right at least.
Did she also lead the ancient Greeks in giant choreographed dance numbers?
No, but she once turned a bunch of snobby princesses into magpies, so there's that.
What about Athena? Is she really supposed to be the goddess of wisdom?
Sure, but mostly that's meant as tactical knowledge. Athena wasn't all sweetness and light. She was a warrior goddess. She was also the goddess of heroes. There are loads of stories where Athena helps guys like Odysseus or Jason or Perseus.
No female heroes back in those days?
Yeah, guess not. Women were the weaker sex, which maybe is why Athena was portrayed as being vindictive. She cursed Medusa, one of her own priestesses. She turned people into spiders, struck them blind, started the Trojan War. That's the whole thing.
Not being as wise as advertised is on brand for her, then. What about Apollo?
Okay, so the prophecy stuff checks out. Apollo was god of the sun and light, but also kind of enlightenment in general. He's always talked about as this beautiful and cultured god involved with the arts and the muses, kind of a Renaissance man before the Renaissance.
He's clearly had a rough time since those days.
Well, he was also a giant horn dog, Grace. I can list off like a dozen men and women Apollo has had as lovers, and there's probably more.
Weren't they all like that, though?
I mean, Apollo's no Zeus. He never assaulted anyone as a swan. And no, they aren't all like that. Our sun god had a reputation.
Tell me what you know about Persephone.
Honestly, she's the least like her stories. Usually, she's either a victim or just the wife of Hades, or both.
And that's it? She was kidnapped by Hades, end of story?
Pretty much. Her mother was so angry, she created winter. But otherwise, Persephone was just your average sweet and virginal fertility goddess.
You're right, that doesn't sound like her at all.
Must be hard to be defined by this one thing that happened to you thousands of years ago. I'd be pissed if everyone thought my story ended there.
Well, she is pretty pissed. That much is true. You said Pan was some kind of lust god, right?
Yeah, kind of. Pan's a god of the wild, and I guess that translates into sort of lustfulness and earthiness, humping nymphs in the forest sort of thing.
And you don't like him?
Honestly, he's exactly what I'd expect him to be. All the stories say he's a lech and a beast. The Christians equated him with the devil. Weirdly, he's also the only god who's supposed to have died, though it's never really clear how or why. Anyhow, there's a great statue depicting Pan having sex with a goat. Next time you see him, you gotta ask him about it.
Just how many of these gods are there? From what I've heard, lots of idols live around here.
Well, there are tons of minor gods in Greek mythology. Hundreds even, depending on how you define them. Oddly, there's never any mention of the word idols in relation to them. Maybe it's like how people worshipped idols?
I sort of assumed it was related to the eidolon.
Which is a Greek word, but I think it means ghost. An image of someone after they die.
Makes sense.
Me? I'm more amazed at all the big names missing. Not just Zeus and Hades, most of the Olympians seem to be gone. Makes you think about what's been lost. But also, what might still be out there.
You think there might be other gods out there?
Well, there are all those gods the idols say wandered off. We don't know they're dead for sure, right? They could be living it up in Australia. Who would know? Then there are all the other mythologies, hundreds of cultures, each with their own pantheon. So what's so special about the Greeks? That only their gods are real, right? All those other pantheons could be living in secrecy, just like the idols. And that means they're hidden from each other, too. Oh, they could be everywhere, and no one would know.
It's like a whole other secret side to the world.
Yeah, it's cool, right? I hope I get to meet Ganesha one day. Or maybe Lakshmi?
I wonder how much of those stories are true.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I'm giving you the quick version. There are reams of textbooks out there covering all this, but even they rarely agree with each other.
Really? Nothing definitive?
Ancient Greece was 3,000 years ago, Grace. Not much information survived all that time, if it was even valid to begin with.
What are Kaz and Brian up to? You didn't tell them anything, did you?
No, I told them you came home, that you're okay, but that you're having a moment. They send their love.
Should we tell them, do you think?
No.
What for? They have their own problems. Plus, Brian can't keep a secret to save his life, and Kaz is officially homeless.
Is he still crashing on Brian's couch?
Grace, you do know that Brian doesn't have a couch, right? Just some giant beanbag things?
Then where is Kaz
Yeah, it's cute. They'll tell us when they're ready. But right now, it's best just to not mix them up in this.
I should really apologize about the band. This kind of puts a dent in your plans, doesn't it?
You're right, Grace. How dare you sabotage my dreams? I am so mad I could spit.
You know what I mean. Nobody could have seen this coming, sure, but it's always been something with me.
Well, as I see it, there are two ways this goes down. One, neither of us gets back to the band. It was just a thing we did for a while before I founded a cult in your name. Or two, we get back to it and the band now has the Muse as its lead singer. Edge of Elysium becomes the coolest and most appropriate band name ever.
Ugh, I still really hate that name.
Look, Grace, you can't be the source of all the drama and name the band, okay? That's the rule.
Okay, that's enough questions for now.
You sure? I can talk all day. You know I can.
I'll check back with you soon, Freddy. Time for more mystery solving.
Eu tinha 7 dias, né? Será que eu termino? Vou continuar. Não, eu vou lá na Persephone. Será que eu não devia ir na Persephone? Ela me mandou embora, né? Tem alguma coisa nova pra me dizer?
You've returned. I'm glad. I've had time to do some thinking. I may have been too dismissive after Aphrodite's party. You no doubt have many questions about the Eidolon and Calliope's memories.
Apollo told me a little about it. He did say I should talk to you, though.
Did he now? Is there anything you'd like to ask?
When all these memories start to return, will I feel different?
First, you'll have dreams. Places you've never been, people you've never met. But unlike with normal dreams, these will linger. Then they will come while you're awake. Sudden flashes or snippets of déjà vu. And sometimes it will seem so real you swear you're hallucinating. If there's anything difficult about the process, is that it becomes hard to differentiate between your life and all these other lives you're now recalling.
That does sound confusing.
Confusing and often unpleasant, as not all the memories will be fond ones. But that will pass in time.
You said it becomes hard to differentiate your life from the others. How hard, exactly? It'll still be me, right?
Oh, how do I explain this? Grace, would you say that you are who you are because of your experiences? The things you've lived and done?
I guess so, sure.
Well, all the things Calliope has done, and those before her, will now be yours. They will feel like a part of your life as well. Thus, they can't help but shape you. The Grace that is now will be and will have done so much more. Fortunately, you don't have to deal with every memory. Each time the Eidolon passes on, the oldest memories fade, and that helps.
Wait, how is it good that old memories start to fade?
Think of how old we are, Grace. If all those memories returned to you with perfect clarity, they would destroy you.
Yeah, but doesn't that mean you've all forgotten so much?
Well, far more than we remember. The further I think back, the more it becomes a bit of a blur, actually. You'll recall important moments. Some will be mixed up with the stories mortals tell, and you won't be sure which is the memory and which is the story. An idol's memory is a series of islands in a dark ocean, and they become smaller and smaller as they recede into the horizon. It sounds dire, but you become accustomed to it. It just takes time, and now you have all the time in the world.
How many times have you died? Can I ask that?
We call it passing on. I've lost track of just how many times I've passed on my Eidolon. A dozen? It's happened less often in more recent eras.
And the one you told me about, the woman married to that gangster, she was the most recent?
I don't think of Chastity as a she. That was me, just as the one my husband blasted with a shotgun was also me. It was one of the few times I wasn't able to prepare my successor. We were friends, yes, but I didn't know what Persephone was, and I had no idea what I'd just become.
That must have been difficult.
It was more difficult taking over my dead husband's territory. Women weren't often mobsters in those days.
Were you really a gangster? I've heard it said, but it sounds...
Let me put it this way. I felt as if I'd been blessed by a dying woman who saved me from a prison of my own making. I didn't know what I was, but I was free. I felt more alive than I'd ever felt before, and strong enough to toss an ox 10 feet. Did I set out to become a mobster? Not exactly. My husband's friends thought I'd murdered him, however, so they came after me. And one thing led to another.
Oh, I see.
Athena found me just as my memories were starting to return. I wasn't permitted to continue doing something so noticeable, so I was carted off to Olympus. It's too bad, really. I was an excellent mobster.
Wait, you said that Persephone passed on her Eidolon as she lay dying. What if she had just died?
The Eidolon will keep us alive for a time, even in the most horrific circumstances, in hopes that there's someone to pass it on to.
What if there isn't? What if Chastity had died before you were shot?
And then the line of Persephone would have ended then and there. Oh, there are some stories that say an Eidolon will go wandering, that it never really dies. And who knows if there's any truth to that. It's not exactly something we've had the opportunity to study. All we know is that many idols have left us forever. They've died, and that's how it happens.
It's a lot to consider. Assuming I'll even have time to worry about it, what with the trial coming.
Either the trial will end poorly, in which case all of this is moot, or it will end well, and you will have plenty of time to digest.
Yeah, thanks for the update.
I'm a realist, Grace. It's what I'm best at. Now then, unless you've something else to ask.
Tell me more about Calliope. You and her were good friends, right?
We were.
And
if you had told me a decade ago that I would become close to one of the muses, I would have laughed in your face. I always considered them Apollo's creatures. Calliope, Clio, Italia. Vapid, frivolous gods who handed off their Eidolon to any artist who took their fancy. Every time I met one of them, they were someone else. Apollo called them the Sisters of Beauty, no matter their gender. Can you imagine that? That's such a stupid name.
I never thought of that. Do idols change gender a lot?
Well, we tend to seek out successors like ourselves, but it happens. With the Muses, it happened frequently. Everywhere Apollo went, they surrounded him like a gaggle of ducklings, just like him to gather his own fans.
If you disliked the Muses so much, how did you end up becoming friends with Calliope?
She sought me out. She'd become more and more unhappy on Olympus, so she decided to leave just as I had, long before. Calliope asked for my help, and I laughed in her face. Go ask one of your sycophant mortals, I told her. I mean, surely one of them has some threadbare couch you can sleep on.
Wow.
Typically, she was undeterred. She didn't just want a place to stay. She said she wanted to learn how to be truly independent from an idol who had mastered it. What can I say? I mean, I am a sucker for a well-timed compliment. I took her in. Apollo was furious. He and Calliope were barely speaking, but he was certain she'd come crawling back to Olympus. I'd make taking her in all the sweeter.
After you took Calliope in, that's when you became friends?
Well, no, not right away. I wasn't looking for a friend. What I was looking for was an opening act in the club. Calliope entertained here for years, and then eventually turned from performing to attracting new acts. She was in her element. She and I, well, we warmed up to each other eventually. She was more capable than I expected, and I adored her furious rants.
Calliope didn't seem like the furious type when I met her. That's hard to picture.
Oh, then you didn't really meet her. She was an idealist, and nobody could ever quite live up to her standards for very long. Her brothers and sisters, least of all. The idols needed to change, she said. They were withering away in the shadows, diminished and unwilling to save their own skins. When I joined the chorus, she expected me to change everything, as if I could single-handedly override Athena. I was to be her champion, and together we would bring revolution to the idols. Well, I was yet another disappointment. She left the club, but I gave her a place to live. We were supposed to stay in touch, but you know how it went from there.
What happened to the other Muses? You mentioned 2 others. Were they lost in the war?
One of them was, though not what you think. The day we were to leave on the ship, Talia simply never showed up.
Do you know what happened to her?
We never heard from her again. Apollo thrashed about in mourning, but Talia had been fading away for years. It wasn't a surprise to the rest of us.
What about the other Muse? Cleo?
Died long before. A victim at the hands of a mortal man, when she no longer possessed the power to bedazzle him. As I understand it, he kept her in a cage as a pet until her eidolon shriveled up and perished. He was dead before she was.
Ugh, that's pretty dark.
Yes, well, we come by our wariness of mortals honestly, Grace.
I'd like to know a little more about the idols. I am one now, right?
What constitutes a little more in this instance?
Well, what are we? Where did we come from? If an idol is a soul that moves from person to person, it must have started somewhere, right?
Ah, the big question. To which the answer is, nobody knows. I remember the original Persephone only vaguely. Indeed, I'm not even certain she was the original. Was there something before her? How did she get her eidolon? I couldn't tell you. Evidently, we wrote little down in those early days, or were forbidden to, and our memories only stretch back so far. Anything beyond that simply isn't.
Isn't it strange to not know where you come from? For all you know, the idols could be aliens.
Aliens? Grace, you watch too many movies.
Gods are okay, but aliens are just wacky fiction.
Fine, yes. It is strange. Well, our earliest days aren't the only blanks in our memories, however. We have many. And the last was the day Zeus called us all together to tell us Rome had fallen, and we should prepare for war. Did that war occur? I couldn't tell you. The last thing I remember after Rome was 1,000 years later, in the 16th century. I was in a different body, feeling as if no time at all had passed. Athena calls that period the gap. That's what it feels like. All of us experienced it, and not one of us knows why or how.
The gap you mentioned. What was that like? Did you just wake up one day, or...?
I wasn't asleep. I lived. I had lives. I passed on my eidolon. I may have known who I was and what I was, but perhaps I was completely unaware. All I know is that one day, Athena came to my nunnery, near Trieste, I think. The moment that I saw her, all the old memories came flooding back. My life during the gap was wiped away in an instant, and it never returned. If someone did that to us, they were powerful indeed.
What about Athena? I mean, she's the one who found you, right? She must have been aware.
Athena woke up on her own, so she claims, and spent the next century rounding up those idols who remained. Zeus, however, was gone. What became of him, what happened in Rome, we've never pieced it together. It's troubling.
Tell me more about the war. It seems to have had a huge effect on all of you.
That's putting it mildly.
From Aphrodite's song, I know Ares betrayed everyone. What did you do?
Honestly, after my mother was murdered, I barely remember.
Your mother?
Her name was Demeter. Not truly my mother, but an idol who had always cared for me since the early days. I thought we'd be together forever. And Ares brought those filthy bastards down on us. Demeter was slain by bullets. By bullets. Until that day, I believed we were untouchable.
I'm so sorry. That must have been hard to lose her like that.
I watched her fall. Heard her scream. I would have run to her, but I was pulled away to safety. By Hermes, I think. Whatever was left of the old Persephone. The innocent girl with the long hair. I loved her girls. She died with Demeter. After that, I don't know. We went from hiding place to hiding place. I didn't even know what Hephaestus had done for us when I found myself on a boat. We might have been gods once, but after the war, we were just refugees. Like so many others, fleeing to a distant land.
Was it hard for the idols to come to the New World? It's just a place like any other, isn't it?
Well, it wasn't the place that was hard, it was the fear. We knew we were vulnerable. We knew mortals could and would kill us. Suddenly, there were rules. We had to be secret. We had to stay close together. We huddled in the shadows and quaked each time the mortals so much as breathed in our direction. We couldn't all live that way. Some of us drifted away, faded into the night without so much as an explanation. That's what's been the hard part. An inevitable decline in a place where we don't belong. We can pass on our eidolons as often as we like. It will never truly be home.
Are you willing to talk about Hades? If you don't want to, that's fine. I'm just...
incredibly curious how I ended up murdering my husband.
that, yeah.
Now, one might think that my hatred of Hades began when he kidnapped me and forced me to be his bride. But honestly, that wasn't it. I hated my brothers and sisters for letting it happen. But Hades himself, terrified me. He had a presence. And one that forever made him the most important man in the room. And me? Oh, I was nothing in comparison. When Hades began doting on me, trying to earn my favor, I swooned that he might deign to think of me that way. For centuries, I actually thought I was in love. That the kidnapping was the best thing that ever happened to me. It's funny how our perspectives change.
If you got along with Hades for so long, what changed?
I did. I grew up. I was a trophy for Hades. A conquest that he expected to remain meek and unchanging forever. He went out of his way to keep me small. I slowly realized that, he'd always been that way. Manipulation and arrogance behind the handsome sneer. We battled for centuries. I hated him, and I told him so, but he refused to part with me. He declared that I was his and would stay in the underworld where I belonged.
And that's when you killed him?
That's when I killed him, yes. The first time one idol had ever murdered another. Thank you very much.
I'm guessing the other idols weren't thrilled with you killing Hades.
They didn't know what to do with me. And Athena was furious that the most powerful remaining idol had been lost. See, this was before the war and before all the new rules. The chorus had never once contemplated execution. But they certainly considered it then. In the end, they decided it was better to humiliate me. They ensured I did not benefit from Hades' murder, and stripped the throne I had wrested from his grasp.
Which you weren't happy about.
I asked them where they were all those years while I pleaded for help. I was held captive, and what was I expected to do? What, lie down and take it forever because Hades was more useful to them alive? No. I stopped doing what was expected of me the day I slit his throat. May he rot in Tartarus with the Titans for all eternity.
How did you go from ruling the underworld to opening a nightclub named after it?
I won it in a bet with Dionysus, god of merriment.
Okay, there has to be a story there.
Well, the story is that he was a fool, but a charming one with many patrons. They built him a nightclub as his personal playground. And it was a grand old time for Dionysus in the 1970s, I assure you. But he didn't know how to run a business. By the time disco was ready to die, so was his stupid club. So I offered to make it profitable. If I succeeded, he would turn ownership over to me. He accepted because, frankly, all he wanted to do was drink anyhow. I was successful. The club became mine, and I kicked Dionysus out for never paying his tab.
Sucks to be him.
Dionysus ever sobers up, he might decide to be sore about it, but so far, that hasn't happened.
What's the deal between you and Apollo? The way you two fight.
I've told you how he and the other idols stood by and let me rot with Hades, did I not?
It seems more personal than that.
Okay, there's an old saying that no one escapes the underworld. That's not true. I did. Once. Not long after Hades kidnapped me. I was homesick. And I missed my mother. Charon took pity on me and allowed me across the Styx. And after that, Grace, I waded through darkness itself to get out of there. Hades chased after me relentlessly, but I evaded him, right up until I got to the very slopes of Olympus. And who do you suppose was the first idol I met?
Uh-oh.
Apollo stood there. I cried out to him, begging him not to let Hades take me, and yet Apollo did as he has always done. Absolutely nothing. Hades was thrilled, and I knew then and there I could never rely on my so-called family for anything ever again.
Que merda.
That's all I can think of for now. I'll see you around.
Oh yes, that's where I'll be. Around.
E a gente não vai falar sobre o último encontro. Vai ficar no ar, assim, falar.
Oh, hi,
Expulso.
Grace. I can just call you Grace, right?
That's my name. Where's Freddie?
She went out to get snacks. We were gonna watch TV while we waited, but, well, here you are.
Will there be an idol here every time I come home? Just walking into my apartment, uninvited?
Oh, I was invited. Freddie said I could stay. I haven't touched anything, I swear.
Not really my point.
Anyway, I guess Athena wants to talk? I can zip us over to Olympus anytime, if you're free.
So this is what you do? Ferry people around?
I'm the god of messengers, baby. Travelers, doorways, any kind of transition, really. The old Hermes said that the transition part made even more sense for me, which, you know, extra cool, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I can connect any two doorways anywhere, just like that. So it's super easy to take people wherever. I don't mind.
You say it's easy, but do you like doing all these errands?
Huh. Yeah, I never thought about it. It's nice to have a purpose. Athena is super sweet, and she has a big, important job. Why wouldn't I want to help her out?
You can't be this nice. Are you for real?
Aw. Well, the old Hermes used to say that a willingness to serve is more important than a willingness to be served.
You mentioned the old Hermes a lot. You knew him?
Yeah, I was homeless for a while. It wasn't a great time, and he took me in. Everyone's on the same journey, he used to say. Only the roads are different. And then he went on his journey. Man, I still miss him every day.
Wait, isn't he still inside you? Aren't you kind of the same person now?
Not yet. It's only been a year. Maybe I'll feel him again one day. That'd be nice.
Do I have a choice about seeing Athena? I'm not in the habit of being at anyone's beck and call.
I mean, I guess you could say no, but I wouldn't. If Athena wants something, she's gonna get it eventually. She had that look in her eyes, like she really wants to talk to you.
She could always come here. Everyone else does.
Athena entered the mortal world? And now she doesn't do that ever. Can you imagine?
How does Athena manage never entering the mortal world?
She doesn't have to, I guess. Everyone brings her everything she needs. And that creepy owl of hers? Apollo says it's her eyes out in the world. It's everywhere. Watching.
So what, she just never leaves the building?
She'll go to the reliquary and places like that. Just never where mortals are. She wears a toga and calls cars iron horses.
I suppose there's no point in putting it off. Do your thing. Take me to Olympus.
Okay. Oh, when you see Freddie, tell her I'm sorry I couldn't stick around for the movie. And mind if I say something?
Sure.
You've changed. I mean, from the person I met when I first came here. When, you know, you got it together really quick.
Thanks, I guess.
Também acho.
There you are, Grace. Do have a seat.
I prefer to stand,
Chegou
thanks.
braba.
As you like. You've certainly been busy, haven't you? Everywhere I turn, there you are. Including the reliquary.
Oh.
I'm uncertain how you got access, but even you must have realized it's off limits. Particularly for your mortal friend.
Am I not supposed to be proving my innocence? Would you prefer I did nothing?
I'd prefer you didn't break any other rules in the meantime.
Such as? Do you have a list I can read, or do you just make them up as you go?
You think our judgment was rash? It was. In truth, I worried that giving you time, letting us all get to know you, would make it harder in the end. I am sorry, Grace. You may not believe it, but I care deeply. I care about what happens to you and to all the idols.
Não confio, não.
Do you really? Let's explore where all that caring has gotten them, shall we? You're holding on with a grip so tight, your knuckles are turning white. But that's not enough, is it? Every idol I've met is either lost or broken, or both. They're all slipping through your fingers. If you actually cared about them, you'd do something about it instead of sitting up here worrying about your precious rules.
Zeus was the first to leave. King of the gods. And we don't even know what became of him. Vanished into the ether. Poseidon was next. Walked out into the seas, never to be heard from again. Ares betrayed us. Hephaestus saved us. Hades was murdered. And by one of our own. The list goes on.
So you add to it. I show up and you kill me off because you can't be too careful.
We are dying, Grace. I don't mean diminishing or drifting apart. I mean our immortality is disappearing. Very soon now, the idols will be no more. We are a legacy that spans millennia, dating back to the very dawn of humankind. So yes, I care. I will do anything and everything in my power to avoid that fate, even if it appears unfair.
Yeah, it's too bad. I've been an idol for 5 minutes, and I've been out there solving problems you've all wrestled with for how long now? I could have helped you, Athena. I could have helped all of you. But you don't see that, do you? You're so busy holding on to what you have. You can't see what you're throwing away.
I know we've put a great deal on your shoulders, Grace. I do. All I called you here to ask is that you please not make my job more difficult than it already is. If you have any other questions or concerns, now's the time to bring them up.
Who has access to the reliquary? Is it anyone with a key, or...
Does it matter? You gained access, so clearly it is not difficult to get. Speaking of which, I don't suppose you'll tell me who gave you that key.
The same person gave it to me, who gave it to Calliope.
And who gave it to Calliope then? I see.
All right, let's talk about Medusa.
Met her, have you?
Mm-hmm.
Is it true you can't remove her curse? Or is she just too useful?
I wish I could remove the curse. I'm afraid the Athena who bestowed it is long gone. She was prideful, that Athena. As prideful as she was powerful, I'm ashamed to say.
The current Athena is responsible for everything she's done.
I am well aware, Grace. What is it that you would have me do, exactly?
How about you stop treating her like a servant? Maybe send her somewhere she won't be tempted all the time.
Oh, well, if you happen to hear of a diet camp for man-eating monsters, by all means, do let me know. Now, if there isn't anything else?
What do you know of Pan?
Pan? That's not a name I expected to hear. Been sniffing around you, has he?
I have some suspicions, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Pan lurks at the edges because he likes it there, seeking out whatever profit he thinks he can get away with. Avoid him, dear, or he'll stick to you like gum to the bottom of your shoe.
Okay, so you don't like Pan much. I get that. But do you think he could kill someone?
We've all killed, my dear. I was once a warrior queen, feared by mortals and gods alike.
Another idol, I mean.
Is that where your investigation has led you? To Pan?
Sort of. But I feel like I'm missing something important. Maybe the goddess of wisdom could help me out?
It would be helpful to know what Calliope was doing at the reliquary, but she's not available to ask. Not until you regain her memories, at least.
Why not put off the trial until then? Seems like a good way to solve all this. Yeah?
And trust what you decide to share? I think not.
Speaking of the reliquary, you went there, right? Once Hecate told you what happened?
Yeah, I was not impressed by the delay.
If you had known about that, the night Calliope died, would it have made a difference?
The chances are exceedingly small that you attacked her there, it's true. Yet, Calliope was weakened, which made her more vulnerable prey for an enterprising mortal. One she knew. Perhaps the incidents are connected, perhaps not. I cannot afford the risk of uncertainty, Grace. I'm sorry.
I guess I'll get back to my investigation.
I am rooting for you, Grace. If there's another way to resolve this, any way at all, I will take it.
Will you? Really?
Good luck. Feel free to take a cookie on your way out.
Don't take it personally, Grace. Athena's first instinct is to follow the rules whenever things get rough. As if she believes that if the idols don't blindly follow every rule to the letter, we'll dissolve into utter chaos.
Well, is she right?
Probably.
It was a bit much, dragging me into her office just to complain about the investigation she forced me into. What could she hope to achieve? That I'd stop trying?
Maybe she just wanted to find out what you know.
I imagine she simply wanted to remind you not to rock the boat as you fail. At any rate, I'm afraid we're going to have to disappoint her again.
Uh-oh. What now?
You need to go back to the reliquary, Grace.
What for? Is there something I need to ask Hecate?
The one thing we do not yet know is why Calliope went to the reliquary in the first place.
Okay, I'll bite. How would I find that out? You think she left clues?
We can't ask Calliope what her plan is. But you might be able to remember what she was doing there.
Her memories? But I thought...
That it will take years, yes. But if you go somewhere important to Calliope, or touch something special to her, you'll get flashes, feelings.
Do you want Grace to go to the reliquary so she can have deja vu?
I'm willing to wager the place Calliope met her fate has left its mark in Grace's psyche. We have only to uncover.
Sentido.
Last time Freddie and I were there, Hecate wouldn't let us into the reliquary. Not without Athena's permission.
I'm certainly not suggesting we ask Athena for permission.
Then you mean...
A week ago, I would have said breaking into the reliquary was impossible. Yet it appears Hecate can be surprised. If her book says she will be.
Let's hope the book says that again, I guess.
Unless you've some other plan. I'm all ears, as they say.
What about the alarms? I'm not eager to have Asterion chasing me through the fog.
Calliope snuck in without setting off any alarms. At least at first.
Well, I'll be following in Calliope's footsteps, won't I? What if I follow the wrong footstep and set them off?
Then they discover you and we apologize profusely.
Will not be a good look, though, just saying.
Are you sure about this? You want me to wander around hoping something comes to me?
I do know something about how memories work after the transition, but no, I'm not certain. You want certainty? Wait until your trial. Without discovering more, the outcome of that is certain.
What if Medusa is lying? What about Pan? We could look into him some more, couldn't we?
Oh, my, you're just full of ideas, aren't you? Do you have any suggestions regarding how we might go about doing that?
Deja vu it is.
Let's say I do this. What am I hoping to find?
Some memory of who attacked Calliope, or why she was there. Anything we could work with. I've spoken to almost all the idols, and every single one says they hadn't seen or heard from her. If she was keeping to herself, then why now? What started this? We're missing something important, Grace.
Claramente.
What if Grace goes there and the memory she sees is that she attacked Calliope? A Grace from the future. It'd be a twist.
Right then. Back to the reliquary it is.
Any idea how you want to do this, Grace? Because I'm game to help.
Cool. I'm sure we can figure something out.
I can't go in with you. Hecate would sense me right away. I will, however, stay close by. If anything happens, I'll come. Hecate won't stop me. The Minotaur won't stop me. Nothing will.
Eita.
Gosh, it almost seems like you care.
Ugh, can we just get on with this already?
Wait, are you sure this is right? Was that the right door?
You're asking me like I'm supposed to know? It just feels like we're back outside again.
Maybe that was some kind of portal or...
Or maybe we're right where we're supposed to be.
Doesn't this feel a little too easy?
Why does everything have to be difficult? I'll take easy for once.
How do we avoid getting lost? It's like a labyrinth.
Oh, it is a labyrinth, but I've never had any trouble finding my way around. Hey, easy. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, no need to freak out. I'm a guardian, sure, but I'm not a monster. But, yeah, you know you're not supposed to be in here, right?
Sim.
I need this, Asterion. I have to figure out what Calliope did here. Please, can't you just let us look around?
Oh, it's just... Kate would be so mad.
She knows you're the sweetest, most thoughtful bullman there is. She'd understand.
I want to, but
I'd really appreciate it.
I need to bring you back to Kate. I'm so sorry. Oh no. Hey! Come back! Oi, come back!
Okay. I don't hear anything. I think I'm all right. I hope Freddy's okay. She'd better be. First things first, how do I do this? Where do I even start?
Pois é.
Calliope must have been here. She could have stood in this very spot. Maybe if I just focus. It's weird, like, I've definitely been here before. Is this an armory, too? Is that a weapon? A musical instrument? Maybe it's both. I don't get any feeling from that. Will I know it when I see it? Shouldn't that be in a museum somewhere? I don't even know what language that is. This is it. Calliope was here. She was standing right here. And she...
Esse deve ser o alarme, né?
Uh-oh. I didn't mean anything. I didn't even touch it, honest. Okay, then. What's happening? Why didn't it work?
Qual que era o plano dela? Provavelmente foi isso que matou ela mesmo.
Oh! Grace?
Freddy! We've got to run. My powers don't work on them. They just keep coming. No, I won't let you! Freddy!
Mano.
Oh god. Oh god, Freddy.
By the gods.
You summoned the Furies.
What?
Those beings were the Furies. Beyond all our laws. Not idols, but the embodiment of retribution. How did you draw them here?
I didn't. There was a big mirror, but I didn't even touch it.
There is only one mirror of which you could be speaking. That used by the goddess Nyx to contact the Fates. Using the mirror would not have brought the Furies down upon you. Not unless the Fates themselves decreed it.
I don't care what brought them. They killed Freddy. You need to help her.
I have no power over life and death, Grace. None of us have that. This was no defense or spell of the reliquaries. I do not have the power to summon the Furies, and I know none who do. You should consider yourself fortunate, Grace. They do not desist until retribution has been exacted. But now is when you leave. Pray the knowledge you obtained was worth the price.
I'm not leaving Freddy. Not like this. All this magic. There has to be something. Don't tell me there's no way to undo this.
Come. There's nothing more to be done.
Eu não acredito. Isso é absurdo. Tem como fazer ela não morrer?
I'm sorry it came to this, Grace. It's clear what your friend meant to you.
It should have been me, not her.
Don't say that.
This was my fight, my problem. I'm already slated to die, if anyone paid the price.
Your friend gave you the chance to not repeat history. Don't waste it. Grace, is that how Calliope died? Was she also attacked by the Furies? Do you remember?
Yeah. She meant to use the mirror, but she never had the chance before they came.
No doubt sent by the same person. Perhaps for the same reason.
I know Calliope was there to use the mirror, but it was just feeling. I still don't understand why.
There's only one use for that mirror. To speak to the Fates.
Yeah, okay, but why?
The Fates know all that is or will be. Destiny is theirs to command. Or so it's said. One contacts them either to know one's fate, or to change it. Not that the Fates are likely to oblige.
Who could send the Furies after me? Even Hecate had no idea who possessed that kind of power.
No one does, not these days. Hecate herself would have been my guess. Zeus might have, in his role as king of old Olympus, but he is long gone.
Clearly someone can do it.
Unless they weren't summoned. They could have been responding to something you did unwittingly, something Calliope also did. Know what that could be? I'm afraid I have no clue.
Can these fates really control the future?
They control the fate of all beings. I imagine it's they who give Apollo his powers, and they who write Hecate's books.
So someone really didn't want Calliope messing with them.
Or you, it seems.
Could it have been the fates? Maybe they don't like being called on now for anything.
They're not not known to be vindictive. If they don't want to answer, they simply won't.
What are the Furies? They didn't seem like people.
Think of them as forces of nature, but an aspect mortals rarely encounter. They're older than any idol. They were created to enforce the ancient laws.
There are ancient laws now?
Well, there were. Laws even the idols had to obey, from the earliest days of old Olympus. Even if they still existed and you'd broken one, we would all know. These are not petty crimes one stumbles into.
If the Furies are so powerful, why did they stop? They just stabbed Freddy and left.
They're not assassins, Grace. They exist to punish. They demanded blood, and blood was taken. It didn't need to be yours.
So if Freddy hadn't interfered...
They wouldn't have rested, not ever, until they had their due.
I don't know what to do. We still have no idea why Calliope wanted to talk to the Fates.
Well, there is another way to ask them.
I wondered how long that would take. Hecate is enraged. She's threatened to close off the reliquary entirely and forever. Athena is beside herself.
How long have you been standing there?
Long enough. You just had to keep pushing, didn't you? Until you got what you wanted.
This isn't about me. We're out of options, Apollo. And you know there's only one other way to contact the Fates.
Oh, how convenient.
Wait, what's this about some other way? What are you talking about, Persephone?
May I explain it to Grace, or do you have another option, Apollo? If so, now's the time. I thought not. The Fates will respond to the ruler of Hades, the true underworld and realm of the dead. What I propose is that we go there and take back the throne that was stripped from me.
Ha, entendi.
Is Apollo right? Is this something you planned all along, Persephone?
Meaning what? What, that I knew what would occur at the reliquary? Perhaps you think I'm the one who unleashed the Furies upon you.
You've waited for this opportunity for over a century.
Waited, yes. Bided my time. And the moment has arrived.
But that's not why you originally agreed to help me?
No, that's not why.
How do we get to Hades? Do we need a key, like the reliquary?
Athena took my key, and the entrance at Lake Avernus was sealed long ago, which leaves only Hermes.
They won't take you.
They might, if you ask them to. Then why did you come, Apollo? To gloat? To wish Grace well? Or to actually help? Get us there. I'll lead us to the throne, and Grace can speak with the Fates. It's simple.
Is that something we can do? Just go to the land of the dead and overthrow it?
Truth be told, there isn't much to overthrow. Few mortals still believe in Hades, and thus its halls have been nearly empty for eons.
So how do you...
The throne itself is the key, both symbolically and literally. Claim it, and Hades is yours.
But you can't claim it because you're barred from Hades.
By a rule that we would need to break were we to do this, yes.
So if we go to Hades and, find your throne, how much trouble would that get us into, exactly?
A great deal.
It's not as if Athena could execute Grace a second time.
But she's already been warned about breaking more rules.
The responsibility of this will be mine. Let Athena try to take my throne again.
Is there really no other way to talk to these Fates? Do we have to take the nuclear option?
Do you want to try going back to the reliquary?
No. No. Hell no.
The only other person with a direct connection to the Fates is Apollo here.
You know it doesn't work like that.
Then it's the throne or nothing, isn't it?
What's another crazy plan,
É
right?
foda, não dá pra confiar em ninguém.
I know, but there's no point in stopping now, is there?
I can't. I'm sorry, but this is a step too far.
And consider this, Apollo. Grace's mortal friend was slain by the Furies, according to the old laws.
Her soul is in Hades.
Hold on, wait. What does that mean? If her soul is in Hades, then...
It means the ruler of Hades can release her.
That's assuming everything remained as it was. Fine. I'll get you into Hades. But I'm not going with you.
If that's what you prefer, by all means.
It's fine, Hermes. Get this over with.
Bah. Mas aí volta pro corpo? Qual que é o rolê?
Shall I wait here, or...
No. I'm not gonna lie to them. Hermes has always treated me fairly.
Oh, hey, if it isn't Apollo and Grace, and, Persephone. Wow, the whole gang, huh?
I'm afraid I have to call in that favor. I need you to take Grace and Persephone to Hades.
Oh, man, I don't know. Athena specifically said I wasn't supposed to take anyone, you know? No matter what.
This is pointless. They're never gonna help us, Apollo.
Can I ask what's going on? Nobody ever tells me anything, and you want me to get in huge trouble, but for what?
Freddie's dead, Hermes.
What? When did that happen?
She was killed by the Furies. That means she's in Hades. Probably. I have to try to find her there. You're her friend too. I know you wouldn't want to abandon her.
Okay. Signal when you need to come back.
You sure?
Yeah, feels like the right thing.
Be careful, Grace. And remember, the underworld doesn't give up its shades without a price.
I think I can tell her the rules, Apollo. Let's go.
Ai, não tô confiando.
Welcome to the real underworld.
Wow. It feels so empty. So lonely.
It's not completely empty. Neither is the throne, for that matter. A bitter shade named Orpheus has been squatting on it since my exile. I fully expect he'll be waiting for us.
You didn't think to mention earlier that the throne was occupied?
Because it's irrelevant. Orpheus isn't an idol. He's just an angry little man clinging to an existence that doesn't want him any longer.
And what are we supposed to do? Organize an armed resistance? Challenge him to a duel?
That's what you're here for.
I'm gonna fight him?
Oh, you'll see.
Who is this Orpheus? The name sounds familiar.
It should. His is a popular tale among mortals, regarding how he once came to the underworld to retrieve his love, Eurydice, and left with nothing.
Sim.
Hades tricked him, you see. And with Hades dead, the blame has evidently fallen to me.
So he's not a fan of yours?
He is not a fan, no. Not that it matters.
Okay, so there's an angry ghost sitting on your throne. Anything else about this trip you've neglected to mention?
Come. It's time to cross the stairs.
Ela sempre omite as informações, né? Muito conveniente.
The ferryman will come soon. As we are not dead, you will need to convince him you are worthy of passage. State your case clearly and with determination.
Que grande. Grandão.
I am Persephone, also known as Despoina and Kore Sotiera, once queen of the underworld, and shall be again. No, Corone, I did not bring you any cards. I am not here to entertain you.
Hey there! I'm Grace, idol and last of the muses. Is that enough?
Of course she's a muse. Why would she lie about such a thing? He says he's always liked the muses and that you're very pretty. No, she didn't. Neither of us brought games to play with you, Corone. Stop asking.
Oh, I'm sure we can come up with something to amuse him. See? You don't even need to interpret that for me.
Yes, what fun. Thank you for encouraging him. Let's get underway, Corone. It's a long ride to the throne room.
I wouldn't touch that. Way too much for you. Overload you. Blow a fuse. Every story, every memory winds up here in the water. I used to dream that this river would rise, swallow the anger, tears in my eyes. Then suddenly I was found alone. I destroyed Hades, but was denied his throne.
Dead here, isn't it?
Everything here is fading away. She needs her queen.
We're here for Freddy, too.
I killed the king fair and square. They had no right to take it from me.
It wasn't your fault. There was no right or wrong. It wasn't your fault. You didn't belong. If my life was stolen, I wouldn't know where to turn. Candle isn't finished. It's a slow burn.
Someone's coming. There's music floating through. Someone's coming. And it has me singing too. We have visitors. I think we all know what to do. To the throne room. This bard's about to meet a muse.
There's someone singing with us.
That would be Orpheus.
Is he a muse?
Oh, he's so much more than that.
Someone's
I didn't belong here.
A wolf is waiting in the
But that throne belongs to me. No one deserves it.
I can feel them howling at the moon.
Don't forget why we came here.
There's a name here
I won't forget.
that reeks
But you
of
can
an
bet he
enemy.
knows someone's coming.
It's about time, Persephone.
Orpheus, I've been... What happened to the music?
I have been waiting for you, Persephone, for so long. And you brought a muse. Hi. Lovely tune, by the way. Can't remember the last time I collaborated with someone so talented. No offense, Benny. Welcome to my underworld. Let me treat you to a song, a welcome gift. I have the floor. It is mine, after all. Muse, any requests? Questions?
What's your problem with Persephone?
Do, 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 loop it. Do, do, do. I didn't do what I was told, didn't know that it was all a game. I didn't think that he would do it. Then Eurydice was gone. And Persephone, you stood right beside him and said, what a shame. He was always gonna kill her and you knew it. And I never got to have my revenge. My pain never ends. I see you now. Persephone won't turn my back. I won't turn my back.
Porque ela matou antes dele. Devia estar feliz que ele morreu, né?
It wasn't your fault. How are you to react? It wasn't your fault. Now there's no turning back. If my love was taken, I wouldn't know where to turn. Your candle isn't finished. It's a slow burn.
This tete-a-tete is over. If he's the victim, what am I?
Queen, let's not lose our composure. The muse understands.
Well, I won't comply. I'd rather die. The throne was stolen after I murdered the king. You should be grateful and thank me for everything. And yet you scream like a boy. You kick the ground. I was a slave.
Eurydice is gone because you did nothing.
Orpheus, there was nothing I could do.
I saw your whispers, poison behind your king.
It wasn't me.
If I cannot have my revenge, you're the next best thing.
Orpheus, instead of a life of despair, Hades would have ended you there. This place would still be humming.
Oh, I rather doubt that.
Doesn't make it any less true.
Am I the one on trial now?
It isn't your fault. Hades broke you both down. It isn't your fault. This is a little ghost town. But you're forgetting Freddie. I just want her returned. Candle isn't finished. It's a slow burn. It's a slow burn. It's a slow burn.
That throne doesn't belong to you, and you know it.
If I didn't do what I was told, I'd be dragged across the palace floor. Hades
Hades can't hurt us anymore, but Eurydice still gone. For what it's worth, you've my apology, but I assure you nothing more. For deep down you know that there's no revenge.
The pain never ends.
The pain never ends.
There's no revenge.
This was never gonna end the way you wanted to. And I won't turn my back. I won't turn my back on you again.
I'd forgotten how sweet a melody could be. Such thoughts become clouded in this place. Forgive me, my lady of the night.
You're set.
An empty chair for an empty kingdom.
E ela ainda quer isso? Pois é.
It doesn't sound like it brings you anything but bad memories.
Perhaps you're right. All the reasons I wanted it are long gone now.
Feel better?
Yes. That makes what I have to tell you all the more difficult, however. I lied. Even if we could find Freddie, you couldn't bring her back. The laws of death are not so easily circumvented.
And the fates?
They will not help you or anyone. Even if you could speak to them, they will not care. And never have.
You lied. To me? To Apollo? To Hermes?
I thought it such a small transgression to regain this throne. I would have said anything.
You know, for a moment I thought you actually cared about me. Just a little bit.
Grace,
But you don't, do you? Not about me, not about Calliope, not about anything.
At the very least, I had hoped we might find your friend's spirit.
Why? We can't bring her back.
Not without great sacrifice, no. No, the rules of death are clear. Yet, you might have spoken to her. I know what it's like not to get the chance to say goodbye.
Hey.
Freddie, you're here.
Yeah. Yeah, I've actually been watching you since you arrived. It's not like there's much else going on.
Fred,
No, don't even start, Grace. I made my decision. I don't regret it one bit.
You shouldn't even have been there. I never should have gotten you involved.
Hey, no. You didn't get me involved. I got myself involved.
And look what happened.
I got to be the hero of the story. Just for one shiny moment. How cool is that?
This isn't a story, Fred.
You're wrong. It is a story. And you need to finish it without me. Hey, no. I guess this is it, huh? Almost. I found someone while I was down here. Someone you really need to meet.
This... You can't be real. Your soul is inside Grace. Idols don't...
Is inside Grace. The rest of me? I'm here, Persephone.
This is real.
I guess you two were better acquainted than you said. Huh, Persephone?
We parted ways years ago. Persephone couldn't take my lectures any longer.
I'd take them now. I miss them.
No, you don't. Think about how bitterly we were. Don't blame yourself. Not when there's so many fond memories to cherish instead.
I don't get it. I thought the Eidolon was Calliope's soul. But if that's true, then...
The Eidolon is what makes us an idol, but it's not our soul. Each of us adds a piece to it as it passes on.
But what about the memories?
Memories are but a reflection. And after the Eidolon is passed on, old memories become a reflection. That's why the idols have forgotten so much.
Ficou muito baixinha a voz dela.
We need to know what happened to you, Calliope. How did you die?
Why didn't you come to me? If you were in trouble, I would have protected you.
I know you would have. But I couldn't let you be drawn into Apollo's prophecy as well.
Apollo's prophecy?
He didn't tell you? No. Don't suppose it could have. It's a long story.
I don't know about you, but I have all the time in the world. Okay, yeah, bad joke. But I really do need to hear this.
Apollo delivered, with great reluctance, a prophecy that said I needed to die.
And who did he deliver this prophecy to?
Athena.
No.
Then she sent the Furies after me and I went to the reliquary. I barely escaped. I fled back to the mortal world and to you.
Why come to me? Of all the places you could have run to, why come to my apartment?
Because I was dying.
But I couldn't save you. I barely even knew you.
I was wandering the streets that night, wondering if I should go to the reliquary or just flee. And I heard you singing. I followed you home after to see where you lived. I didn't know what would happen to me, but I thought, just in case, I knew I had to hold out until I reached you.
I don't blame you, in case you're wondering.
You don't?
You didn't ask for all this to happen. You did the best you could, Calliope.
Thank you for saying that, Grace. Truly.
Why did you go to the reliquary? We know about the mirror, but...
You wanted to annul the prophecy.
And the Fates are the only ones who could. If they would even help me. I doubted it, but I was desperate. I never got the chance to ask. Someone told Athena where I was going, and she must have realized what I meant to do.
But how did she get the Furies to attack you? They aren't pets. You didn't break any of the old laws.
I don't know. Maybe it's something the ruler of the idols can do. But you'd have to ask Athena.
Apollo hates using his power. Why would he have given a prophecy to Athena?
Because she demanded it. She was desperate.
How did you even find out?
Apollo was horrified after he delivered the prophecy, and he refused to stay silent. And he came to warn me. He was torn. Telling me meant I was locked into it. I still think he did the right thing. Though I suspect he disagrees.
What was the prophecy? Surely I need to hear it.
If I tell you, you'll be locked into it, just like me.
But the prophecy doesn't just say you have to die. There's more to it, right? They always require interpretation.
Apollo told Athena that. He begged her not to jump to conclusions, but maybe she was right.
It doesn't just involve you, does it? It involves me. It must, or you wouldn't hesitate.
Athena wanted to know if there was a way to save the idols. The answer was this. The idols cannot continue so long as the last muse lives.
And I'm the last muse. You went to Pan for the key to the reliquary, right?
Yes. He's the reason I knew about Nyx's mirror, actually. He told me about it long ago.
He told Medusa where you went. She, I expect, told Athena.
Oh. Pan couldn't have known what it would mean. I didn't explain.
That's it. You forgive him, just like that.
I'm sure he feels guilty enough,
I can't believe Apollo didn't tell us about this. He kept quiet the entire time.
He knew Athena killed an idol. He had a duty to tell us.
If he had, Grace would have been locked into the same fate as Calliope.
We don't know that.
It isn't fair, Freddy. This isn't how it's supposed to go.
So many years of history, fights, the highs, the miseries. I'm so proud of you, but it's time to go. I never truly saw before how trapped we were, so far from shore. Great at the time, but it's time to go. It's time to go. Deep within my soul, you will remain with me, a best friend through the dark. Gone, you're irreplaceable. It's time to go. It was quick and so was I. I was not prepared to die, but Grace, I choose this.
Intenso.
Return. And I see Freddy isn't with you. I'm so sorry, Grace. Did you at least get to speak to the Fates?
No.
Then what happened?
None of us got anything. Persephone didn't get her throne. I didn't get Freddy back. And talking to the Fates was never gonna happen.
So it was all for nothing?
Oh, not at all. It actually proved quite productive. We heard about your prophecy, Apollo. You knew. You knew the truth this entire time. Even when you said you were helping Grace.
Yes. Yes, I did.
Why did you say you'd help? You could have stayed out of it.
I tried that. You wouldn't let me.
Oh, so now it's my fault?
Whatever you were trying to do, Apollo, you failed. We know the prophecy now.
Then it's done. You're locked into it.
Isn't the prophecy open to interpretation? Couldn't you be wrong about how it ends?
When am I not wrong, Grace?
That's right. Leave. It's what you're best at. I don't know how this will affect your trial. We could tell them what we've learned. Even without proof, it makes enough sense that Athena couldn't just brush it off. But if she believes you need to die in order to save the idols, if she truly believes that, it won't matter what anyone says.
Does there still need to be a trial? If we go to Athena privately, maybe we could work out some kind of deal.
She won't make a deal. All that will afford her is a chance to kill you before the trial.
She tried that once already.
And your friend died as a result. No, it's a clever thought, but Athena needs to be challenged in front of everyone. I intend to keep my promise. We go to the trial and I'll help you, even if it means overthrowing Athena. Calliope would approve.
But what about...
Just so you understand, our chances aren't good. I suggest you do whatever necessary to prepare.
Great.
More.
Pan? Are you here? Pan! All right then. Guess I'll just head off.
I thought you didn't want to see me anymore. You're not here to yell at me, are you?
Mais ou menos.
No, I just wanted to talk.
Oh. Now you've got my ears quivering, Grace. Whatever could we have to discuss?
I, could use your help, actually. Again.
Dearest Grace, if I knew another way to help you, do you truly think I wouldn't offer it?
Not freely, no.
I deserve that. It's true, but it still hurts to hear you say it. Ah, you've learned something. Something not altogether pleasant, I'm guessing. Tell you what, Grace. Let's indulge in one last transaction. Relay what you've learned, and I'll see if I have any advice to offer.
Okay, where do I begin?
Well, of course it was Athena.
Wait, you knew?
No, how could I?
So what now?
Let the prophecy play out.
Huh?
Let it play out. It doesn't say the last muse will die. Just that she must for the idols to continue. Perhaps the idols shouldn't continue. Seems reasonable enough.
I doubt Athena would agree. Or many of the other idols, for that matter.
Yes, well, if history says anything about the idols, it's that we're a bunch of reactionaries who make poor decisions. Frankly, change is long overdue. Continuing on as we have been isn't appealing, and I doubt I'm the only one who thinks so. I'm rather looking forward to the trial now. How exciting.
Oh, it's you. Paul comes in, mopier than his usual mopey self, and won't say a word about why. But of course, it's you.
Look, I know you care about Apollo. I'm not here to hurt him.
Uh-huh, yeah. And, why should I believe you?
Because I just came to talk. I want to sort this out. If I can.
I guess I can go ask him if he wants to talk to you. Don't be surprised if he says no, though.
It's all right, Oracle. I think Grace and I need a moment alone, if you please.
Oh, sure. Don't mind me. It's not like I was in the middle of anything.
I know how Persephone feels. But not you. You'd have every right to be furious with me.
Of all the people who've lied to me lately, I least expected it from you.
It made so much sense at the time, but now it's almost a relief to have it out in the open. When I first became Apollo, I was so sure I could help people. Help the world. I ignored the warnings. You have no idea how many lives I ruined before I stopped. I never should have given in to Athena.
Yeah.
This one time, I thought that maybe it will be different.
You don't know everything, Apollo. Half the problem is that you and every other idol thinks they do.
What do you mean?
Trying to prevent the prophecy is what's making it come true.
So you want to, what? Stop trying?
Maybe.
I hope you can forgive me, Grace.
Yeah, I get it. It's not easy, but I get it.
I suppose I'll see you at the trial, Grace. I wish you all the best.
Did you forget something, Grace?
It felt like we hadn't quite finished our conversation.
It seemed pretty finished to me. What more is there to discuss?
How about you? Are you okay?
Oh, I am many miles from okay, Grace.
Don't you want to talk about it?
Calliope would not have approved of the way I acted. But then she seldom did. It was so good to see her in Hades. To have her say she forgives me. Just wish it were as easy to forgive myself.
You could apologize, you know. We could start over, from square one.
Apologizing really isn't my style, Grace.
Não é
Stranger
sobre
things
isso.
have happened.
Fine, fine. I'm sorry. There, you have it. Are you satisfied?
It's a start.
Is it any easier out there? Do you miss being immortal, Grace?
It's been a week, Persephone. If I live past the trial, I'll let you know.
Yes, the trial.
It's a whole thing, I hear.
Whatever happens, Calliope will approve of us defying Athena.
É sobre. Não tem mais nada pra fazer.
So this is it. All your new friends have lied to you, but somehow they're gonna get you through the trial, right? I wish Freddie were here.
Like a boat lost at sea, with no sails, not a breeze. I am drifting cold waters, no star to be seen. I'll embrace the fire as it burns deep inside, bright enough to guide me, an ocean defied. But as I burn, they've all turned away one by one. In the end, am I alone? Like a boat lost at sea, with no sails, no breeze. I am drifting cold water, no star to be seen. In your heart, we remain. You do not sail in vain. In my heart, you remain. I do not sail in vain.
Incrível.
Okay, here we go.
Ih, a coruja não tá aí.
Hello?
Oh, Grace, there you are. Everyone is already waiting for you on Olympus.
A cara do Hermes ali.
I thought this was Olympus.
Not this office building. My word, no.
Tá estranho.
Welcome to Old Olympus, dear.
É mesmo? Ah, tá. Tem gente
Is
mesmo.
this a real place?
It's the memory of a real place, which for us is the same thing. Let's begin, shall we?
Bora.
Brothers, sisters, everyone, look around you. We few who remain fled to this new land to escape the war, but we are not out of danger. I waited to tell you until I was certain, and now I am. The idols are dying. It will not be long before even our immortality deserts us. The time for extreme measures has arrived.
And you'll be the one deciding which of those extreme measures is implemented, right? You and no one else.
When has there ever been anyone else? Each of you is here because I brought you here. I protected you. I carved out this space in a strange land so we could survive. I am at this trial to tell you that, as always, I will look out for you. I will save you. Trust in me, Pallas Athena, daughter of Zeus and leader of the chorus, and I will do anything it takes to keep you all alive.
You'll do anything? It must be difficult. Feeling as if everything is on your shoulders, and yours alone. One moment of weakness and it all falls apart. You've been doing this for so long, you don't even know how to stop, do you?
Oh, dear child, why on earth would I stop?
Because what you've done is wrong. If it wasn't, then why not come clean? Go on. Tell them about Apollo's prophecy. The idols cannot continue so long as the last muse lives. Isn't that how it goes?
It's true.
We spoke to Calliope in Hades. She told us how you sent the Furies after her.
You couldn't have.
Yes, I could. There's more to an idol than just the eidolon. Maybe you even knew that once, but you've forgotten it, just like all the idols have. You don't know everything, Athena.
No. I do not accept this. You are lying.
You're the one who's been lying. Or would you like to explain to the idols how you murdered Calliope based on a vague prophecy? Tell them.
Yes, it's me. It's me. Of course, it's
Ele vai
me.
jogar que ela tá protegendo, né? Óbvio.
The one who gets it done. Don't you see? It had to be. You all turn away when I got the fish. Then you cry hooray once it's on the dish. That's how we do this. Yes, we. Yes, you and me. I have always cared for you. I'll always do all these things for you. All these things that you are not prepared to do. You, it's not just you. Time to put you in check.
There are other idols too.
You irritating speck.
Aren't you aware?
Sorry, little bird. It's time. These people time to wring your neck.
Lost little girls. Seems like a theme here. I grabbed the brass ring, but then what to do? A great shiny throne, but still in the darkness. Kill her today, and Athena, that's you too.
Of course you would make it all about you.
Still, Athena, I'm glad you were here to see how someone grew.
None of you see. So it's down to me. It's fine. I'll take all the blame. I'll take all the pain. Think you see it all? You just see a scrap. You wanna make the call. You need to hold the map. You cloistered children. It's time for you and all who stand with you. Yes, you too. Form a queue. Time to follow through.
Cause and effect. You feed this thing more blood, you'll feel regret. I know you know I'm right. You feel it deep inside.
If I stop now, Olympus is wrecked. Cause and effect.
It's the right
Of course, it's me. Because of me, this prophecy would come to be. My Olympus is gone, and you're all looking on at a stranger wearing my face. My Olympus is gone. Now I'm some other one. Just how long has she been in place? You set off hoping you could get to somewhere right, but it's been too many years since the mainland was in sight. There was a voice in me that shouted, Athena, you be strong. Be strong. No cost is great enough. It was wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong, and now I don't know what the right thing is. I leave it up to you what to do with this.
I forgive you, Athena.
Look into me. I know what I see. Yes, a monster. I've met monsters who weren't monsters. I'm a monster to me. I'm sorry, Grace. I'm sorry, all of you. I wish Calliope would know it too. She does. She hears you.
Dá pra tentar usar o espelho agora, que foi a ideia daquela época desde o início.
Are you finished? You've been talking forever.
We're done, yes.
And? So you're in charge now, I'm guessing.
For the moment, but it appears we're about to have a repeat of what happened in Hades.
What does that mean?
It means we are disbanding the chorus. Not only that, we have decided to reveal ourselves to the mortal world.
You're planning to tell everyone what we really are? Isn't that risky?
It won't be right away, so those who are too fearful can go into hiding. But it's time. No more laws, no more secrets.
You all agreed to this? No argument?
Oh, we don't do anything without argument, dearest.
Wasn't it you, Grace, who said we should stop living in the past?
Well, sure, but I didn't think you were listening.
What can I say? I'm trying something different. Plus, this is what Calliope was fighting for.
Calliope would definitely approve.
If there's no chorus, does that mean idols just do whatever they want?
As much as anyone can.
What about Medusa? I hate to think what she's gonna do.
Medusa has offered to live in the reliquary. Frankly, I think she's relieved.
As for the rest of us, we'll be subject to mortal authorities and their laws.
These authorities. Do you think we could ask them about Hephaestus?
Yes. Yes, I imagine we could.
What about Athena? She can't be okay with this.
She won't fight it. She said, and I quote, "Whatever your decision, I will abide by it."
That's a switch.
The fight's just not in her anymore. She was so certain she was doing the right thing.
It must be tearing her apart now that she's failed.
Now we'll see how long this new Athena lasts.
I have a few thoughts as to how you could go about revealing yourselves.
Oh?
If there's time, we could prepare a campaign.
A campaign? You make it sound like preparing for battle.
It is, kinda. The idols would be stars before you know it. If you're famous enough, there's only so much that can be done to you.
Now that is a marvelous idea indeed. I'd like a moment alone with Grace. Well, you did it, Grace. The trial has come and gone, and you're still standing.
Pra tu ver, hein?
We did it. I would have been lost if you hadn't stood beside me.
I'm still not entirely certain what possessed me.
Maybe you're not as cold-hearted and ruthless as you think you are.
How dare you?
Sometimes even idols are capable of change. You said it yourself.
Obviously, the freedom the rest of the idols have extends to you as well. I can't compel you to remain. And yet I am asking you to do so.
Why do you need me to stay? What can I do?
I think the question is more, what can't you do? Grace, you helped solve issues we've wrestled with for centuries. It wasn't simply because you're the muse. We need you.
Pois é. Fala pra caralho.
Ready to go out and face the music, Grace?
Ah, mas nem um beijinho? Só.
Of course you're both here. In my apartment. Why wouldn't you be?
We were waiting for you.
How does it feel to be the idol spokesperson, appearing on every newscast, reputable and otherwise?
I'm exhausted.
The Oracle has been keenly following your progress. She records every appearance, every interview. She may be your biggest fan.
The way she talks, you'd think she never doubted who you were.
Well, at least she's been of great help to your online campaign.
Everyone here has also been busy. Would you like to hear the latest?
Has anyone heard about Athena? It's been a while.
I have. She left the city, as she felt uncomfortable with all the attention on the idols.
Terrified, you mean?
It was more that mortals expected the goddess of wisdom to have sage advice, and she no longer trusts her judgment.
No surprise there.
You don't still worry about her, brother, after all she's done?
I think of her off in the far north, living alone in the wilderness, punishing herself until the end of her days. I know it's her own choosing, but it seems like such a waste.
Is Hermes still around? I'm surprised they're not here with the rest of you.
Well, we've barely seen them of late.
Hermes has been busy. They've become a social media darling, or so the Oracle tells me.
The truly amusing part is that they're not even trying to be famous. They simply can't help it.
Hermes likes to people please, it's true.
Hopefully it won't backfire on them. Fame is a double-edged sword.
Hermes lives a charmed life. Never fear.
Well, it's odd seeing their face on so many billboards, but I agree. Let Hermes have their fun.
What about Pan? I haven't seen him since the trial.
No one's seen him.
Should we be worried? It is Pan, and what he does will reflect on us all.
Pan is harmless.
Mostly harmless.
As far as I can tell, he did regret his involvement in Calliope's death. He'll lay low. At least for a time.
He'll be back with some new scheme to make us all groan.
You're not wrong.
What about you, Apollo? Still planning on leaving the city?
Soon, I think. All the attention on the idols is proving rather taxing.
Ooh, running away again, brother.
I suppose you could say that. Really, I just came by to see Grace and apologize one last time.
I told you don't need to keep doing that.
Yes, well, I'm glad things worked out as they did. You'll all be fine without me.
You know, one day you will learn, brother. Not today, but someday.
Is there any word yet on Aphrodite and Eros? They left the city a while ago.
Eros sent word, yes. Aphrodite has started a spiritual retreat in the mountains?
Let's call it a cult.
Whatever it is, he says it's been helping her. Being the goddess of love to the world once more has at last brought her peace.
I thought for sure they'd go into hiding. Aphrodite fears mortals more than any other idol, doesn't she?
Hence why she surrounded herself with only those who shower her with adoration.
As I recall, sister, you also headed several cults across the centuries.
The Eleusinian mysteries weren't about shoring up my ego, Apollo.
What about Venus? Did she go with them?
The mortal? I don't believe so. Last I heard, she opened a gallery. Aphrodite's become her patron.
Venus has painted most of the idols. I sat for her last week, in fact. It's made her rather successful.
There you go.
What about Hecate and Asterion? Are they still at the reliquary?
Hecate leave the reliquary? I'd sooner believe the sun would go out.
It doesn't hurt that they seem enraptured with each other's company.
Asterion is all Hecate is willing to discuss. Do I need to know every detail of his sexual prowess? I do not.
Didn't Hecate say it is written that she and the Minotaur would eventually break up?
Well, eventually, for Hecate could be centuries from now.
In the meantime, she gushes about her new boyfriend like a schoolgirl.
You should hear Asterion then. His gushing puts hers to shame. I'm happy for them both.
And Medusa? I take it she's no longer at the reliquary.
She was. For a few months.
There was an incident involving Hecate's new cat.
Oh no!
Medusa was beside herself with apologies, but needless to say, she moved on rather quickly. We're not certain where.
Meaning what? Medusa is roaming the streets? Doing whatever she likes?
Not quite.
Medusa believed she might not be able to control her appetite, so she asked us to put her in contact with the mortal government. They took her somewhere. It was her decision. The government is grateful. They even suggested we might see Hephaestus again.
Aphrodite's husband? He's alive?
So it appears. Who knows what he's been doing for the mortals since the war, but it would raise all our spirits to see him
Vai
again.
ser interessante.
How about you, Persephone? Any big changes?
Not unless you count my many trips to Hades. No. It's business as always.
Trips to Hades?
I am no longer its queen, but I am still the most familiar with its workings. And Hades is changing. Perhaps it's the mere fact that the mortal world is aware of us again. I don't know. Or something else is stirring.
Is this something we should be concerned about, sister?
Not yet. I'll let you know. As for everything else, the club continues, more popular than ever. The world turns. What more is there to say?
I still can't believe it's all over.
Oh, it's scarcely over, Grace. Now that you've toppled the castle, it's barely just begun.
Well, I didn't do that.
On the contrary, you absolutely did.
Perhaps we should leave you alone, Grace. You must be tired from your trip.
Kind of feels like this is it, huh? Like we won't see each other for a long time.
No. Not like this. You're right.
Everything has changed.
Será que eu teria conseguido ficar com a Persephone, tipo, realzando assim? Ou foi isso? Isso foi o máximo de um romance? É porque eu usei o coraçãozinho quebrado ali no final. Tem que jogar de novo pra testar.
The ocean lies calm, stars are out.
Each heart our paths, I've no doubt.
Where will we end up with different routes? A fresh coat of paint, sails unfurled, ready to go.
Watching the shore as we drift away.
Lost in the sunrise, parting mists of gray.
Sailing to new world, the rush of
Everything has changed. Everything.
Pois muito bom. Eu amei muito esse jogo. Perfeito. Melhor investimento. Mas eu vou ter que jogar de novo pra descobrir se eu consigo ter um par romântico de verdade ou não. Se é sobre isso. Ai, muito bom. Muito bom. E eu gostei que ela também evolui a personalidade, porque tu pode escolher um novo traço depois de um tempo. Muito bom. Eu não sei se eu tinha como evitar a morte da amiga, mas eu acho que não. Incrível. Muito bom. tentar passar rapidinho pra ver se tem alguma coisa depois, mas acho que não vai ter nada depois dos créditos. Mas, caralho, muito bom. Mas é isso, eu ri, eu chorei, eu fiquei braba, fiquei confusa, fiquei pensativa. Um bom jogo, um jogo completo. Joguei tudo num dia, achei que eu ia ter que parar, mas na verdade pela hora eu deveria ter parado, mas estava tão bom. Deu 6 horas e meia de live, contando que eu tive um período ali de um break no meio. Isso foi muito bom, melhor do que eu esperava. Só que é muito grande, os créditos. Tô terminando pra esperar eles passarem. Eu não só descobri o jogo, só comprei o jogo por causa do pessoal de Critical Role, né? E realmente é muito talento pra um grupo só. Incrível. É uma galera aí. Uma galera envolvida. Será que essa é a última parte ou será que tem mais? É a última parte. É isso. Não tem como continuar, né? Então. Era isso. Esse foi o jogo. Foda pra caralho. Obrigado por quem assistiu. Um beijo. Boa noite.